First Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 13. It says, there had no temptation taking you, but such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that he may be able to bear it. Few things for us to take notice. First, it says, there's no temptation that has taken you than such as is common to man. So, I'm going through a temptation, I'm going through a challenge. The first thing God wants you to realize is that it is common to humanity. Your challenge is common to humanity. The challenge you are going through, if you gather a couple of people together and you share it with them, they'll share it the same thing. It is common to humanity. So every time I have a challenge that's a burden to me, first thing, what I'm dealing with is common to humanity. It is on the human level. All the challenges we go through are on the human level. He says, but God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but with the temptation make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. So what I'm going through is common to humanity, but then God is faithful. God is faithful. The faithfulness of God is not determined by whether I go through a challenge or not. I'm going through a challenge that is common to humanity, but God is faithful. God is faithful. God is faithful. That should be your confession every time you go through something. Despite what I'm going through, but God is faithful. But God is faithful. And it continues, it says that he will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but with the temptation he will also make a way to escape, that you be able to bear it. So realize, it says that now you're going through a challenge. This challenge is common to humanity. It's common to humanity. But God is faithful. God is not going to allow you to go through something that you are not capable to handle. He's not tempting you beyond what you are able to handle. So if I'm going through a challenge, first, it's common to humans. Second, I have the ability to handle it. So why has God allowed me to go through that challenge? It's because he knows I have the ability to handle it. God has allowed me to go through that challenge because he knows I have the ability to handle it. What is the faithfulness of God in that challenge? Is that God knows I have the ability to handle it. You see, sometimes we want to just see the faithfulness of God in God taking away the problem. God says the faithfulness plays out in the fact that I know you have the ability to handle it. I know you have the ability to handle it. God says with the temptation, he makes a way of escape, so that you are able to bear it. So with the temptation, he doesn't take the temptation away. With the temptation, he makes a way of escape, so that you are able to bear it. So I'm going to a challenge. First of all, the challenge is common to humanity. So if it is common to humanity, it is a shame for someone who has the divine life to be complaining. Humans suffer the same thing. Then I have the divine life of God in me and I'm complaining. So God subjects humanity through the same challenge so that it brings out who is divine. We can't tell who is divine. We need to subject everybody through a certain test. So you pass humanity through that test. But God knows you are able to bear it. So it says the problem is common to man, but he didn't say men are able to bear it. God is faithful. He knows you are able to bear it. So despite the fact that the challenge is common, I am able to bear it. If there's economic challenge that is common, fine, I am able to bear it. The problem is common to humanity, but for me who has the divine life, I'm able to bear it. So no temptation has come upon us, but such as is common to man. But God is faithful. Someone say, God is faithful. Say, God is faithful. Say, there's nothing I'm going through that is not common to man. There is nothing I'm going through. So say that, there's nothing I'm going through that is not common to man. But God is faithful. 1 John chapter 4 verse 4 says, ye have got little children and have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. So we are of God, and we have overcome, because greater is he that is in us than he that's in the world. 1 John 5 4 says, for whosoever is born of God overcomes the world. And this is the victory that overcomes the world, even our faith. This is the victory that overcomes the world, even our faith. So we have overcome the world because within us is something greater than what we are going through. Within us is something greater than what we are going through. In Exodus chapter 8 in verse 11, here was Jethro, which is Moses' father. He says, now I know that the Lord is greater than all gods, for in the thing wherein they dealt proudly, he was above them. So here he has met Moses, and Moses was sharing with him the exploits from God defeating the Egyptians, all what God did. And Jethro was amazed. Jethro was amazed. He says, now I know that God, he says, now I know that the Lord is greater than all gods, for in the thing wherein they dealt proudly in, he was above them. So how did he know God was God? Is that the very same thing that we subject humanity to, we saw God prevail over it. So he knew the Egyptians, for example, we saw the issue on the serpents, that they could also produce serpents. But the one of Moses from Aaron's rod swallowed all. So God did not destroy their serpents. God says what you have has the ability to swallow all. God didn't do a deliverance to take away the serpents. God didn't drive away the serpents. What God did was that he made his overcome. And so Jethro looked at this. He said, in what we know them to be champion over, God was above them. Now I know he's Lord above all gods. So if in your own case, God makes you run away from the problems hit you, and then he just makes it vanish, how do we know what is inside you? So I know that God, the Lord, is God above all gods, because in the very same thing where they exalted themselves in, God was above them. In John chapter 16 verse 33, it says, these things I have spoken unto you, that in me you might have peace. In the world you will have tribulations, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. So God says you are going to have tribulations in the world, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. So these are promises of God. So you see, sometimes when we look at the promises of God, it's not just divine healing, it's not just divine health, it's not just divine provisions, it's also called challenges, it's also called tribulations. They are part of the promises God says has given. A promise is what I tell you I'll give you, or I tell you experience. If I tell you if you come for a blessed generation, we'll give you royal apple at the end. Now that's a promise. If I tell you if you come for a blessed generation, there won't be light. It's a promise, whether positive or negative. It's what I say that you are expected to have. So he says, in this world, you will have all this, but be of good cheer. Because, please stop this.
So be of good cheer. Why? Because I have overcome. Be of good cheer. Now take note of this. Increase the volume. Take note of this. Be of good cheer because I have overcome. At the end, you see how important it is to realize that he has overcome. So let this stay with you. He says you are going to experience so many things, but be of good cheer because I have overcome. I have overcome. But be of good cheer. So what do you do when you experience challenges? Be of good cheer. When you are going through something, what do you do? Be of good cheer. That is not when to squeeze your face. God's remedy for when you are going through a challenge is simple. Be of good cheer. I'm going through a challenge. Why are you looking the way you are looking? You don't know what I'm experiencing. No, it's been hard. Wrong. Why are you happy? If you know what I'm experiencing, share the testimony with me. Achai, see that my landlord there? It's not correct. Oh, praise God. He actually chased me from the house. I know it's not correct, but I'm still happy. See the way you're laughing and the way you're walking. What's the problem? It's my back. It's my back. It is well with it. It is well with it. Be of good cheer. Don't be squeezing your face over every challenge. Be of good cheer. Why? You are going through a challenge, so be of good cheer. Don't squeeze your face because you are going through a challenge. You are going through a challenge, so laugh. So be happy. I'll be sharing on what I tied to rejoice in the Lord.